Hello and welcome to On Purpose Astrology. I'm Mandy Lockley, and today I'm going to be talking about life purpose for the Sun in Aquarius and the Sun in Pisces, the final two signs of the zodiac. First, what does the Sun mean generally in our chart? Well, the Sun is about our identity, it's about our essence, and makes up part of our unique individuality. The Sun, by the sign that it's in, has a lot to say about our life purpose and the qualities that we are invited to develop and grow into as we go through our journey in life. The Sun is part of what we call in astrology the big three, and the big three is the Sun, the Moon, and the Ascendant, or you might know the Ascendant as the rising sign. It's the same, Ascendant rising sign is the same thing. So while the Sun has something to do with our growth, our path, the journey we take through life, and as such has a kind of look to the future because we're moving towards, we move into our Sun. We might have the understanding that we are born with the innate qualities of our Sun. We're just born a Capricorn and we're like a Capricorn, all the characteristics of a Capricorn, or in this case, an Aquarian or a Piscean. But it's actually more the case that we grow into the qualities of our Sun and we become purposeful and on purpose and on the right journey for us when we start to, as I've already said, become more like and to express and live the higher expressions of our Sun sign. So there's that future orientation in that sense with the Sun, rather than this is just who we are, this is how we always will be. There's growth and development in all of our astrology, in everything in our birth chart. It's an opportunity for growth and development, but the Sun in particular has that aspect. The Moon is about the past. It's about our habits, our routines, the things we learn, where we go to when we want to go into our comfort zone. And the Ascendant is our rising sign. It's about how we go out into the world. So that's more to do with the present, how we show ourselves to the world. So past, present, future, the big three. Of course, it's a lot more complicated than that. We have all the other planets in our birth charts and they're all in different houses and they make relationships, i.e. aspects with each other. The Sun is really important part of that big three and one of the most important points in our chart for life purpose. So the Sun represents our journey through life, as I said. It's a journey. We can think of the Sun's journey as, well, our journey as the hero's journey, as described by the mythologist Joseph Campbell. The hero goes on a journey, it takes the road, it makes decisions, it meets helpers along the way, it meets people who, and its situations who present obstacles and challenges, and it overcomes those, might even be enemies along the way, but certainly it's a growth journey where lessons are learned and there are things to overcome. And then at the end of the journey, the hero returns home. And hero here, I'm using hero in a not in a gendered way. I'm not talking about the male hero, although traditionally in some of the myths it was the male hero. But the hero returns home to its home village, hometown, and city to a hero's welcome, is celebrated. And symbolically, when we live through our Sun in our birth chart, that returning home doesn't mean, you know, a big celebration in the town square because we've come home. It means that we have come into ourself. We have come into our unique individuality. We have grown through our life journey to become the best that we can be. We have lived our life purpose. We are living our life purpose. It doesn't end then. I mean, the ultimate coming home is obviously the end of our lives, but we have many different coming homes, I believe, in our along our journey, where we have learned and integrated to express the best qualities of ourselves, and those best qualities can be found within our Sun sign. So when we do express our Sun in positive ways, we are automatically purposeful, on purpose, perhaps living our life purpose. But life purpose is something that grows and develops as we evolve and grow and develop. It's not just one thing forever and we achieve that, yet boom, we're done now. It's a constant growth process, and this is as well the promise of the sun. When we are following our sun, we are following our heart. When we are following our purpose, we are following our heart. Our heart in our body is at the center of us. We can center into our heart. You know, we are all heart. You've heard that expression, oh, that person, they're all heart, or they're following their heart, or even we're heartbroken when things don't work out. Heart's very important symbolically, but actually it's vitality, isn't it? Our heart, the heartbeat, it means we are alive. If our heart is beating, when we are alive, we have energy. Symbolically, also think of the sun at the center of our solar system. As the sun is at the center of us, the sun is at the center, well, our heart is at the center of us, the sun is at the center of the solar system. And everything revolves around the sun. So when you revolve around the sun, you have direction in life. It's also vitality, the sun. Think about it. The sun in our solar system, light, warmth, vitality. Part of the one of the big parts of the things that means we can have life on planet Earth. So when you think about the sun and vitality and energy and enthusiasm comes into that, think about what is my purpose in terms of my sun sign? How can my sun sign help me with my purpose? Well, one of the things you can think about is what lights me up. You can ask yourself that question. Think about the things that you like to do, that light you up, that give you energy, that energize you, that empower you. That's a good clue that you are in your sun. Conversely, what drains you, what puts your lights out, you know, that sinking feeling and the lights go out, you know, metaphorically. You know, the energy is kind of drained from you when you're feeling drained. That's perhaps when you're either not in your sun, or you are perhaps expressing, even if temporarily, some of the negative aspects of your sun sign, because all the sun signs have the at best and the at worst, and most of us are somewhere in the middle, but we can aspire to embody the higher qualities of our sun sign. And that's what life purpose work is all about, embodying the highest part of ourselves and putting that into action and doing something in the world that helps the world as well as gives us fulfillment. The sun also represents authority figures. Now, traditionally, in traditional astrology, it's the father figure. But, you know, the world has moved on, and authority figures can be any gender or no gender at all, of course. So what are our authority figures? What did we learn from the early authority figures in our lives? Usually they are parents and guardians. What did we learn about authority? Are we following the path that authority laid down to us? Are we doing the kind of job or living the kind of lifestyle to please our parents? Are we following a kind of career based on what we were told we were like at school, or what our boss believes we are capable of, or what we are being pigeonholed into? So are we following the path laid out for us by others, or by the limitations that others have set onto us? Or are we following our own path? Because ultimately the sun is about being in your own authority, making your own decisions and going in the direction that works for you. So again, just to summarize that, what lights you up, what brings you vitality, what makes you feel fulfilled, or what makes you low energy, what makes you exhausted, maybe even burnt out. So we can look to our sun to help us develop some of the qualities to help us to get back on track, or to get on track in the first place, or to just give ourselves a boost. So as I said, as I've alluded to, really, the sun shows us the qualities we have come here in this lifetime to develop in a purposeful way, to find some purpose in life. Because the sun is what we are at best aspiring to, rather than what we are innately. It's in us, but we need to bring it out. Another thing for the sun is goal setting. The sun represents the goals, how we set goals and what kind of goals we set. Now, we all need to have some kind of vision. It's important to have a vision for what we want to achieve, to be an on-purpose person who is fulfilling their life purpose, who is doing some good in the world, and who is being the best that they can. An overall vision, light, again, the sun. We can see again that metaphor about the sun above us and at the center of our solar system, and the life-giving sun energy in our heart, of course. But to achieve our vision, we need to set goals, and this is where the practicality of the sun sign comes in. What kind of goals should we set to have a more purposeful and meaningful life? As I say, the clues are in your sun sign. I mean, also in the house and the aspects that the relation, i.e. the relationships it makes with other planets, those clues. The aspects tend to reflect themes and some of the potentials for growth. The house is the areas of life. And the sign is the qualities, and this is what we're focusing on in this video. The qualities of your sun sign are the qualities that you can bring out. If they're brought out, then that is all the better to apply those to the area of life and to the challenges that life brings you, and to live a very purposeful life. So let's get on to the signs Aquarius and Pisces, and the final two signs of the zodiac. So the sun in Aquarius can be summarized in one word: the journey to freedom. That's three words actually, but freedom is that one word. The journey to freedom. Life is a journey, and Aquarius is looking for freedom. Now, freedom, of course, means different things to different people and different things to different Aquarians. There's something contrary about Aquarius. You know, they want something a little bit different. If you're strong in Aquarius, particularly with a sun in Aquarius, someone might tell you that you are like this, or you want this, or you should do this. And the contrariness of Aquarius will go for something different, even if it's not exactly what they want, because they want that freedom to choose for themselves. It's a very independent sign. So freedom to be who you are, financial freedom, career freedom, lifestyle freedom. Aquarius believes in equality and fairness, not just for themselves, but for everyone in society in general. At best, this is the higher qualities that need that to go for equality and fairness for all. It's a very humanitarian sign. It's an air sign. So we talked about, I've just mentioned humanitarianism. You know, there's often that feeling of that people have rights. Human rights is very important. But certainly part of the life purpose for Aquarius often lies in the direction of social issues, of looking after social issues, looking after people so that everyone gets a fair deal. Aquarius believes everyone is equal. Capricorn, I just talked about in the last video, understands and respects and tends to work within, even if they don't like the social hierarchies, such as class and rank and job title, etc. But Aquarius rejects social hierarchies, thinks everyone should have an equal chance. It's about the common people. The common people should have as much chance as whatever Aquarian thinks is the elite in the hierarchies. It's often an intellectual type of sign. However, it's an air sign, you see, but however, Aquarius is wise to be aware that it doesn't slip out of purpose into a sense of intellectual superiority. Everybody's equal, but I'm more equal than everybody else is a trap that sometimes Aquarius can slip into. So as an Aquarian, following your sun is to follow causes, to stand up to injustice, and to try and make the world, as I say, a fairer and more equal place. So we can say that the life path, a purposeful life path, has something to do with reforming and improving things for everyone. Another important quality of Aquarius is, as I've already mentioned, independence. Now, it's often the case in early life that Aquarius has had to be independent for some reason. So life follows that path where Aquarius has to become independent or take a lot of independence. Often that's to do with the family circumstances. Perhaps the Aquarian in early life, childhood, for example, had to fend for themselves for some reason. Or perhaps they felt like they weren't a fit for their birth family. They felt different, and maybe they were treated differently. Maybe they were an outsider even within their own family, and that can lead to being independent. It can also lead to being so fiercely independent that they don't sort of commit. If you are an Aquarian who felt they didn't fit in the family and didn't sort of embrace that family life and feel massively a part of it because you felt different, that might be hard for you to feel comfortable in other kind of situations, such as in with friends and with work colleagues and with relationships, of course. But it's often said that Aquarians have friendships instead of family sometimes. I mean, we all have family, but in terms of that, in terms of the people that you want to hang out with, well, maybe a Cancerian might want to hang out with their family more. Aquarian would more likely hang out with their friends. So they develop friendships and communities, brotherhoods and sisterhoods. That's where that independence can really work, because you can form those communities, you can form those so-called kind of, proxy families, often based around your interests. If you're a sun in Aquarius, the things that you're passionate about, rather than, dealing with people that you're not that interested in. So that independence, once gained by an Aquarian, is really held onto quite strongly. Now, compassion for Aquarius is a big picture thing. So you care about the big social issues, but sometimes neglect to make others feel individually cared for on an emotional level. That's another Aquarian sort of trap, but it doesn't necessarily have to be his problem, as long as Aquarius remembers to be kind and tolerant. And those are qualities that tend to come quite easily to Aquarius. And Aquarius should also not let its penchant for honesty descend into tactlessness. Sometimes Aquarius can come across as aloof and unfriendly. I remember one of my astrology teachers always used to say about Aquarians that they would work really hard for the team to make sure the team got a fair deal, to make sure the team got the work done, really felt like they were part of the team, cared about everyone, worked for the common good, but didn't necessarily want to go down the pub with everyone afterwards to celebrate. So that's quite an Aquarian thing. Goes into that quirkiness again. So Aquarius is well known for being unconventional. So an on-purpose Aquarius will, at least in some area of life, not follow tradition or social norms, whether that's in the way they dress, their style, or the relationships they have, or the kind of career they follow. So it's important for Aquarius to be able to have the freedom to choose their lifestyle, independent of the judgment of others. And we sometimes read that Aquarius is the rebel the rebel and the rabble rouser of the zodiac. That's not strictly true unless there's other, chart factors such as a strong Uranus, because it's a fixed sign after all. Unconventional, yes. And what happens with Aquarius often, they're very unconventional when they're younger, but they tend to go into convention. So they're kind of ahead of their time. It's a sign that's ahead of its time. So what might be unconventional when an Aquarius is younger then becomes okay later on in life. So Aquarians find themselves actually being quite traditional eventually. Eventually. So there's kind of that thing that can show us the way. Look to an Aquarius if you want to know where society is going. How are Aquarians living their lives? What kind of jobs are they going for? What kind of relationship styles are they going for? And you might have a view there into the future. Here's another thing I've noticed about Aquarians. Unless other chart factors mitigate this, you can call an Aquarius a weirdo. We talked about being unconventional, and they will take it as a compliment. I've said this to quite a lot of Aquarians. I'm going, if someone called you a weirdo, would you be upset or would you take it as a compliment? 9 times out of 10, they'll say, oh, I take it as a compliment. Overall, Aquarius is a sociable and friendly sign. It's an air sign, but that independence and that idea of community and group and seeing that bigger picture of society means they don't always let people in close. So that can become commitment phobic, whether that's commitment to a career or to another person, on a personal level in a relationship or a cause. There's some part of the journey for Aquarius, because it is a fixed sign, that they do need to commit to something. And you often find Aquarians again in later life, because the traditional rulership of Aquarius is Saturn. Saturn is about time, it's about age. The modern ruler is Uranus, as I've talked about. But I find through experience that Saturn says a lot about Aquarius, because we can look to the ruler of a sign to find out some of the qualities, to find out it brings the qualities of a particular planet to life through the sign there. And you often find deep commitment later in life with Aquarians, whether that's a commitment to a relationship, whether it's a commitment to a cause, whether it's a commitment to a career. It's a very principled sign. And again, as a fixed sign, one of the qualities that the sun in Aquarius tends to develop and tends to evolve in is to be principled, to stand by their principles. And there's a well-known joke about Aquarius that they love humanity, but they hate people. There's some truth in that, although hate is a way too strong a word. Aquarius doesn't tend to go in for hate. It's a very tolerant sign. It's an air sign. It's a bigger picture sign, Aquarius. As I said, that's why that might come in, because the story I just told about the Aquarius going all out to help the team to get fairness, to achieve something, and then not wanting to celebrate afterwards, and people say, oh, you don't really want to know us, but actually it's that's not the case. And most Aquarians aren't aloof, and they can be quite shy. As I said, that rulership traditionally by Saturn does make its, Saturn does bring a kind of a reserve and a shyness. So you might see an Aquarian as very intellectual and, really going for a cause, very principled, quite aloof. Might be that Aquarius is just a little bit shy. And if you're a sun in Aquarius, you might relate to this. But it's an air sign, so it communicates. It can talk, it's being able to sort of communicate what is really meaningful is fantastic for Aquarius. And when Aquarius finds its voice, it can be very powerful indeed. So that's another quality for Aquarius to kind of work on, rather than going behind a shield of sort of protective independence or protective sort of shyness or aloofness, looking aloof. But really, it can be an incredibly friendly sign, very, very friendly. Along the way, as the sun in Aquarius finds its purpose, they learn to love and respect everyone and everything, you know, the whole of humanity, but also the animal world as well. Tolerant of other people's point of view. That's another quality that's fantastic for Aquarius. They have their own firm stance, of course. It is a fixed sign, but can see the other point of view, can see all sides of the picture, so long as everyone is on track with them and wants something that's fair and collaborative. And as I said, ultimately, Aquarius wants freedom, just to be themselves and to make a difference in the world just through being themselves. Now, Pisces. Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac. At best, Pisces, like Aquarius, sees everyone as equal, but not in the same way as more intellectual Aquarius's view equality. Deep down, Pisces knows that we are all one. We are all the same. We all come from the same source. We all go back to the same source. For the sun in Pisces, part of the life purpose is to see beyond the physical and the mental and into the spiritual and emotional realms. Emotions run deep. It's free-flowing water, Pisces. Here, in the free-flowing waters of the spiritual realms and the emotional realms, Pisces can heal any and all wounds. And often Pisces do carry wounds. Often Pisces can even carry the wounds of others, the wounds of their ancestors. Pisces can also help to heal their own wounds and the wounds of others and the wounds of the ancestors and the wounds of the world. There's such compassion that can be developed. Compassion, acceptance, and kindness are just three of the qualities that Pisces sun is here to develop. It's a sign that strongly tends towards boundarylessness. Free-flowing waters, as I've already said, has no boundaries. It can go anywhere. It can be anything, Pisces, actually. A deeply emotional sign. It can sometimes become overwhelmed, feeling like it's drowning in its own emotions, drowning in the suffering of others, because it's such an empathetic sign. This is often why this deep sensitivity, this is often why many Pisces look for escapism. This can take the form of addictions at worst, or slipping into victim mode, or yearning to be rescued, or rescuing others, sacrificing the self to rescue others. There's a yearning. There's a yearning in Pisces. Just by being in a body, a physical body on planet Earth, Pisces, like everyone, we are separated. But Pisces, once it understands that we are actually all connected energetically, that we're all one, we're all part of one thing, we're all part of the higher creative power, we are all an element of God or the universe, whichever word you like to use for this, then that can go some way to alleviating that sense of yearning that is inherent in the sun in Pisces. That there is a oneness to all of mankind and to everything in the universe, and we were all a part of it. So part of the lesson, part of the purpose for Pisces, so that they can find and follow their life purpose, is to avoid losing themselves, to avoid sacrificing their needs for the sake of others. Somehow, Pisces needs to learn to set healthy boundaries, to say no. Saturn, if it's strong in the chart of a Piscean, can always help to learn to say no, and yet still express themselves, express that deep compassion and sensitivity and emotion and yearning. So it's important that Pisces finds and develops some kind of creative expression. It's known as a creative sign. Huge part of the life purpose for Sun in Pisces is creative expression. Leo, of course, is also a sign that really needs a creative expression, but it's different. It's slightly different for Pisces. Pisces is their creation, is their creativity, known for their creativity, artistic even. So any activity that is in a creative expression, so important for Pisces to indulge in, to follow, to learn, to express. I mean, when we think of artistic and creative, we automatically think of things like painting, drawing, photography, dance, music. And these are great actually for Pisces. A lot of Pisces are really interested in these creative ideas and these creative media. But it can be anything. Creativity can be anything. Anything that expresses their deep feeling, their idealistic yearnings, and their active imagination. It's a very imaginative sign, Pisces. But Pisces, part of the lesson for Pisces is not to indulge so much in fantasy, to let the imagination be the imagination, but not to lose a foot in reality. So grounding techniques are often very good for Pisces, just feeling your feet on the ground or your butt on the ground and feeling those connection to the earth. Acting actually is quite attractive for some Pisceans because it fits in with the nature of Pisceans, because a Piscean, it's the last sign of the zodiac and it can be anyone or anything it wants to be. It can try on various character traits and personalities. Now, it's impressionable and easily influenced. Impressionable, easily influenced. But remember, if you have Sun in Pisces, part of your life purpose is that you can make a very positive, meaningful and healing impression on others and influence others in compassion and empathy. In the end, it's love and unity. That's the end of the zodiac. Love and unity is what we're all looking for. But Pisces is on that road, or should be on that road, if they choose to be on that road. Of course, we all have free will. But for Pisces to be on the road, on the journey towards finding love and unity, that's an on-purpose Pisces. Pisces, along the way, might be wise to foster a sense of self-autonomy, to understand that they do have some control over what happens to them. There's often a go with the flow with Pisces, and that's great to an extent. But remember, we're talking about having that vision. Wow. When Sun in Pisces has a vision, it has a vision indeed. But again, setting those goals and not just letting life flow. Learning to set goals. But again, it's a mutable sign. So there's some flexibility there, some flow. So rigidity, and this, of course, there's other chart factors. Rigidity is not the way to go with Sun in Pisces. So having those goals, but having a flexibility in them, setting boundaries, but making sure that you don't cut yourself off, because it's important to flow along with life and with other people. When Pisces finds a deep, meaningful and purposeful life, it's a soulful purpose. It's the very soul purpose that Pisces is really looking for and yearning for. There's part of Pisces that's always yearning to be complete again, and to be complete as part of the whole, to re-merge with the whole. So having a sense of having a soul and a spirit can really help Pisces, which is why Pisces often is associated with spirituality. Pisces can make a real difference. The healers of the world. Pisces can be the healer, they can be the rescuer, they can be the victim. Pisces wants to find the balance. Pisces wants to not give themselves away in sacrifice, to martyr themselves to help others. And at the same token, wants to find self-autonomy in the Sun in Pisces, enough so that that Pisces is not the victim waiting to be rescued. In the end, when Pisces rescues itself, it rescues all, because Pisces has that much of an impression and an influence and doesn't even know it. And that is sometimes the beauty of Pisces. Thank you very much. I hope that's interesting and helpful. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you everyone watching this, and all there is left to say as we get to the end of the zodiac with these videos about the sun through the signs in terms of life purpose. Lots of love as always. Thank you. Bye bye.